Hello, my name is Patrick Jackson. This is my Module 11 case study for EDL 856. A summary of this case we see starts at the beginning of the school year where I, the principal, am meeting with the parent-teacher organization for the first time to find out that they have decided to unaffiliate themselves with the National Parent-Teachers Association and form their own independent group. They've already taken time to elect officers and organize into committees. They have also been led by their new president, who is a young lawyer. Other people that we see in this case are myself, the principal, teachers who are not mentioned in the case but would be affected by the outcome of the case, students who we are seeking to improve school conditions for to improve success, as well as parents who are not involved in the parent group, whose opinions may or may not be taken into consideration and may not be being represented in the case. When looking at legal and ethical issues, we first look at the parent organization's decision to discontinue their affiliation with the National Parent Teachers Association. According to the National Parent Teachers Association, this creates a lack of support and training that could create more possibilities for liability for the parent group and for the school. We have known Board of Education policies that address parent group affiliation with the school. The first one being USD 259 Board of Education Policy 2212 that addresses parent-teacher groups. This policy describes parent-teacher groups in a collaborative setting, collaborating with teachers, administrators, and community members to support student learning. The second policy is Policy 2210 that addresses site council, which is a collaboration of community members, parents, teachers, administration, and other support staff that serves more of a recommendation function where they discuss school needs and provide recommendations for changes that can be implemented to address those needs. Both require established meeting times and administrative representation, which we already see has been violated when the new parent group met without the principal the week prior. Parents who are uninformed on policies but are conducting data collection could possibly violate FERPA laws, unaware of the way in which they're able to collect data and what kind of data they're able to collect. We also see non-parent group parents questioning if their input is being considered or if they're being represented in the newly formed parent group, as well as teacher conflicts that could arise if the newly opposed processes of the new parent group conflict with teacher contract obligations. In summary, what has happened: the parent group is seeking more input in the decision-making of the school without knowing or ignoring procedures, guidelines, and laws that dictate the mechanism of a parent group and without taking into consideration possible ethical and legal implications of their actions. Looking at what facts we know about this case, the people that are represented include the principal, myself, who is confused about situations a bit and unsure why the changes are being made, willing to be supportive but concerned about the group meeting without principal attendance. The parent group president, who is a young lawyer and doesn't seem to take typical social cues into account when speaking over the principal during their meeting to finish his point. A lawyer should have done research on legal conduct for parent groups or legal implications for not complying with policies and laws that govern district conduct. The parent group, wanting to be more involved, already devised committees and a plan for the back-to-school week and data collection. Both the president and the rest of the parent group understand that decision-making and policy development occur at the Board of Education level. Only known place referred to in this case is the meeting taking place in the principal's office. The program facts include that the parent group is developing committees to collect data and make recommendations on instruction, curriculum, behavior, and has already devised a plan for the back-to-school night. Focusing on facts that we don't know, and there's a lot, People that we are unsure about would be teachers who are not really referred to as being a part of the group, the parent group that's been formed and what role they play. No students are specifically mentioned, even though students are who we're gearing our work around. Other parents outside of the parent group are not mentioned, nor are Board of Education members or other work they do outside of being in charge of deriving and making decisions on policy. No facts about the place or program are implicated in the case. We're unaware if it's a rural or urban setting, what state or region this occurs in, or the conditioning of the building itself. We don't know what grade level we're working with, though we can infer that without having student representation in the parent group, most likely it's at least an elementary or middle school. We're unsure if this is a public or a private school and unsure of any special programs. Groups this case could be potentially damaging to include me, the principal, who ultimately, if anything goes wrong, the blame will fall back on. Also regarding teachers being unhappy, parents being unhappy, or policy being broken. For parents, it will be damaging if they continue to feel they cannot support their students the way they want. For staff, they can feel the effects of the proposed plan by the parent groups, especially if it exceeds contractual obligation. And students in two ways. The first one, changing the school routine that could affect their learning for better or for worse, as well as maybe feeling like their parents are too involved. In the case, we're looking to see if this case is not handled correctly. Trust from one group to another will be lost. Trust for administration from staff, trust from parents to administration, and trust from administration to the parent group. Confidence in administration to follow through can be lost, as well as confidence in the parent group to constructively address issues facing the school. Collaboration between groups can suffer, as well as the likelihood of individuals or groups' concerns being heard and acted upon. To support administration in this case, district leaders should be consulted and policies regarding parent groups should be reviewed. Parents outside of the involved group should be surveyed for consistency of ideas between the parent population and the newly formed parent organization. Reviewing options of possible plans of action. The first one we see is taking no action at all, allowing the parent group to continue without administrative support. Next, we see more comprehensive or liberal courses of actions would be to fully support the parent groups, and alternatively, another option would be to fully oppose the parent groups and actively seek to disrupt their plans or alter the group structure. Other options would be to seek compromise with the parent group's plans to help support their ideas and input, but avoid legal or ethical issues that may arise, or to obtain district or staff support in suggesting or generating alternatives to the plan that could still support the ideas of the parents, but have stronger legs to stand on. When we evaluate these options, we're first going to take a look at the option to take no action, the pros and cons. The upside is, if any, is the option is that the parent groups will be unable to take much action for the most part as far as implementing their plans in the school. And this would really only benefit a principal who is looking to maintain control over that decision making. The bad part is that this would damage the ability to build relationships with family. For me, the principal, and other staff members, it is a complete depiction of breakdown in collaborative efforts. By alienating supportive parent ideas and support, you are not truly taking what is best for students into account. Furthermore, this could result in actions being taken against you from parents going against you to district leaders, or even legal action being taken against you. Evaluating our option to be fully supportive to the parent group. If I am fully supportive of the parent group, I will build their trust in myself, and the ability to collaborate on ideas will grow. In doing so, we will be supporting the needs of students to succeed as fully as possible, utilizing the expertise of their parents. The suggested plan of the parent group is aimed at gaining a full understanding and evaluation of the issues in the building needing to be addressed for the common good of all stakeholders. Supporting this plan could be seen by staff as a lack of support for them, or that the parents are running the building, as no teachers were mentioned as being a part of the parent group. Supporting the parent group could still lead to navigating legal and ethical issues. Alternatively, fully opposing the parent group would give me, the principal, a greater sense of control over the school and its maintenance, which would also lead to my perceived control over outcomes in the building and avoiding situations for which I would be held accountable. However, this would easily destroy my principal-parent relations and hinder the school-family relationship we would be striving to build. Though I'd be looking to enhance student success, fully addressing student needs would be greatly assisted through the input of the parent group, which I would see dissolve as collaborative efforts from the parents would most likely fail in the aftermath of opposing the parent group. Evaluating alternative options, compromising by offering suggestions and alternatives to components of the parent group's plans would help me to maintain control over handling legal and ethical issues that may arise while implementing new ideas. Parent groups could see this as an effort to be collaborative and support their proposal, or could possibly see this as me not being supportive and trying to control their group. Seeking support from the district and staff members in the form of family engagement officers, district leaders, curriculum coaches, teachers, and support staff such as social workers, psychologists, counselors could help me to back up proposals and compromise efforts, or possibly dismissing undesirable proposals by the parent group. They could also be leaned on for consultation on ethical legal guideline adherence. This option could be in support of the parent group, in support of compromise, or even in opposition, depending on the situation. In my opinion, the best option is to support the parent group fully, taking into consideration the needs to consult all stakeholders and work with their concerns. I believe that supporting the parent group is the best course of action. According to the Reform Support Network, key elements to building a successful educational community include making engagement a priority, communicating proactively, and providing opportunities that are meaningful for family and community involvement. It is clear that family participation in education helps support student being more successful, and encouraging, nurturing, and harnessing parent participation is a powerful tool. Pairing the idea of the parent group with consultation and guidance from district support, staff, and other stakeholders, maybe even including students, will ensure that viewpoints from all stakeholders are being considered to the best of our ability. To implement my plan in supporting parent groups, I would like to encourage more participation to represent a more diverse parent population. I'd also like to develop framework, guidelines, and roles that would encourage explicit expectations are being implemented, incorporate compromise to consider and to promote collaboration, which includes seeking guidance from district resources, as mentioned before. Also monitoring feedback to make adjustments to the plan, as well as sharing success throughout the community to make sure that the gains that we make are being shown to our stakeholders. A key piece to implementing this plan is promoting transparency to encourage participation and to build trust within our stakeholders, within the explicit expectations that are being taught, making sure that the guidelines are set clear so that violators, unfortunately, can be handled. We want to set a clear picture of the outcome for our goals that help align everybody's vision and make sure that we all have a shared vision and a shared goal. We want to communicate legal and ethical practices, especially with non-professional parents within the group, to ensure that they are not taking risks or putting our school or our group at risk, as well as following a chain of command for solving problems led by the group president and myself, the principal. A 3-strike system of warnings will be implemented, in which case documentation is key, making sure that every incident is documented for taking care of those situations. When implementing a backup plan, I'd like to lean on district guidance to establish bylaws and guidelines, something that's a little more concrete with more support. Tough conversations would need to be had, but the parent group essentially would need to be reset as far as a framework, and continuing to support the parents and considering their input is key. Ready?